Hi folks, how's it going? It's time for another GG weekend preview with my name Chris Graham and Ross Clarke. What weekend we got coming up, Ross?
Great weekends, really start of the jump season proper, the top horses in the top races, Gold Cup contenders, Clash of the Titans, top handicaps, what a weekend.
It's going to be great as well. And to make it even more exciting, the Tote Ten To Follow is open. Remember the Ten To Follow, one of the great institutions of horse racing competitions, back this year after a 5-year hiatus. Registration is now open, and here at GG we are well and truly right behind the rejuvenation and the return of the Tote Ten To Follow. Get on the GG website, loads of great content, loads of great pointers on how to win what is a considerably big prize of at least £250,000, so take a look at that. Loads of great stuff. Registration is open till next Saturday. How does it work, Ross? You pick 10 horses for the season.
Pick 10 horses, you get extra points for grade 1, 2 and 3 races, and there are, I think, 12 bonus races, 15 bonus races, starting with the Ladbrokes Trophy next Saturday, going all the way through to the last weekend in April, the big Bet365 Chase. Focus is on grade 1 horses, but if you want some pointers, as Chris says, go to GG.CO.UK, check out all the content we've got there, and go and register your selections.
Absolutely. So yeah, so basically the more times your horses win, the more points you earn, and you've got 8 days as I speak to enter your stable, and Ross will be doing a nice video and some written pieces next week to point you in the right direction. So back to and details on the bottom of this video as well, so do check that out. But back to the weekend of racing coming up, and I think for me what makes it so special is the fact that Betfair Chase is such a massive race in the calendar, but it's not even the headline act this weekend, because that is taking place at Ascot at 2:05 tomorrow afternoon. The Christie 1965 Chase, over 2 mile, 5 furlongs, 4 to 6 Altior, 11 to 8 Cyrname. The outsider of the 3, but this outsider of the 3 ain't winning, and that's 60-61 Solomon Grey. It's been billed as one of the big clashes, not just of the season, but of the decade, Ross. Altior against Cyrname. Which side of the fence are you sitting on?
Sorry, Altior fans, I'm in the Cyrname camp tomorrow. I just think he'll get Altior out of his comfort zone, not necessarily, obviously, on the flat, on the speed side of things, but I just think he's jumping, he's so slick that Altior won't see which way he goes, to be perfectly honest. I think we could be looking at quite a clear-cut Cyrname victory. I'll be looking at some distance betting. I'd be going maybe 4 or 5 lengths, maybe something like that, I would suggest. They're officially the 2 highest rated chases in Britain. They don't clash very often. Altior, for me, his form is not as good as it was a year and a half ago. I think his best performance in the last 18 months came with that Champion Chase win over Min, 7-length win, top draw. I don't think he's been getting any better. I'd argue his performances are getting weaker. He hasn't been beating anything of any note. And if the Cyrname that won in February when he thrashed Waiting Patiently shows up, I think he'll give Altior a bit of a beating, to be honest.
Okay, I'm really getting a bit excited about Cyrname. When you think, you peel back 12 months at Ascot, his beloved Ascot, he finished 7th to Cadolin. That was only a year ago. So what's changed?
Well, he's never really been at his best first time out, which goes against what I was saying. But from a long way out, Paul Nicholls will know that Altior has been penciled in for this race. So I suspect he will have got Cyrname a lot fitter this time around. We now know, obviously, maybe what you didn't quite know at the beginning of last year, that Cyrname can only really go right-handed. So the Cheltenham Festival is out, so you might as well make hay while you can at the start of the year, and possibly this, and maybe the King George if he goes there right-handed. The rest of the big staying chases, most of them left-handed, Cyrname would have 0 chance of winning. So this is going to be one of Cyrname's big days of the year. I suspect he'll be fully tuned up for it, and I think he'll win. Altior's jumping will be put to the test, and I suspect, given the way he's been jumping recently, that Cyrname will nick a couple of lengths out of him at every fence, and Altior could just be on the back foot really early.
Interesting. 2015, I think, was the last time Altior lost. So
amazing. He's a true great. So if he does get beat tomorrow. I don't want everyone starting to crab him and go, he's never that good. For a horse to win 19 straight races in any sphere is amazing. He is a great.
Yes.
Let's appreciate him, and let's thank the Connections for taking the risk of going up in trip, making Usain Bolt, for example, run 1,500 metres. That's kind of the equivalent. And let's just say well done for them for giving it a crack.
Yeah, absolutely. Fair play to Nicky Henderson, definitely. David Cameron was Prime Minister last time. Altior lost, start long ago, going for a 20th consecutive win tomorrow. We'll move on to a race at Haydock, the Stairs handicap hurdle, 225. Umbergrado heads the betting at 6 to 1. He's won 3 of 5 races for David Pipe. Listening at Oscar, Rebecca Curtis's horse at 15 to 2. Highland Hunter next in the betting at 8 to 1. But you're going for a double figure price?
Yep, Breaking Waves, trained by Noel Williams. That's one of the reasons that I'm kind of interested in him. Noel Williams has got a 57% strike rate in the last fortnight, so his horses are in flying form. Made a really pleasing comeback at Cheltenham last month, the October meeting. Finished 4th in a hot handicap over 2 mile 5 furlongs, staying on really strongly at the end if you watch the video back. This is now up to 3 miles, so that step up in trip should suit him. As you say, double figure price each way. It's a hot handicap, but you know, he's a young horse, he's improving. They're the types you want in these sort of races at this time of year. So we'll go with him.
Cool, 14 to 1 for Breaking Waves, Ross's selection in that staying handicap hurdle, 225 at Haydock. Let's move on to the Betfair Chase, one of my favourite races of the year. Bristol De Mai 6 to 5, going for a 3rd consecutive win in this race. He hates everywhere else in the world, but boy does he love Haydock. 6 to 5, 13 to 8 lost in translation. Absolutely stunning performance at Carlisle a couple of weeks ago. Boy, his jumps made the heart go a flutter. 13 to 2 Frodon, the Ryanair champion, and of course Ballyoptic, who won the Charlie Hall last month, or earlier this month, is 14 to 1. Fascinating race. Ross, 3 in a row for Bristol De Mai.
You can clearly see that's possible. I'm not going to be backing him. He's won the last 2 by a combined 61 lengths. He's beaten Q Card in the race. He's beaten Native River, Gold Cup winner in the race. He does nothing wrong at Haydock. Loves the ground. But I just think the presence of Frodon in the race actually gives you an angle into the race to make you think that Lost in Translation is the best bet, and that's who I'm going to be backing. Bristol De Mai basically led the whole way in both these Betfair Chase wins, has been grinding it out from the front, grinding everything into submission. Tomorrow, he's got Frodon, and we all know what Frodon does. Frodon also goes from the front, puts everything under pressure with his jumping, and it'll be interesting to see if Bristol De Mai can fight off Frodon, whether his jumping holds up under pressure. And my suspicion is that it won't. My suspicion is that his jumping may start to falter when Frodon puts the pressure on. And Lost in Translation can pick up the pieces, really. I think you're quite right. The way he jumped at Carlisle was unbelievable. You've got to remember, last season he was being beaten by probably one of the best horses in training in Defi Du Soy, and he actually thrashed top of the game at Aintree last season. So that actually destroyed the RSA chase form at Aintree. He's second, third favourite for the Gold Cup. He'll be. I suspect he's a massive runner in that. I expect him to win tomorrow. Hopefully, it won't bottom him out too much. Connections are then talking about King George Gold Cup, trying to get the £1 million bonus. It starts at Haydock on Saturday. Let's hope that the initial impressions we got at Carlisle this season are backed up. And if so, we could be talking about the Gold Cup winner here.
Well, you said a couple of weeks ago that you think he'd be better than Q Card, Dan.
Oh, better than Q Card.
That's a bit harsh.
He'll be better than Q Card.
Brilliant horse.
I know Q Card's a brilliant horse, but you know.
But you're obviously pitching high.
Pitching high.
Nice one. 320 at Ascot, the big, other big clash this particular weekend. Boy, this has got a bit of backstory and a bit of grit and a bit of hatred. It's the return of Capelin against Diego de Charmy, which should be fascinating. I think everyone who's got a decent bone in their body wants Capelin to win this and beat Diego de Charmy, I must say. 100 to 30 favourite, though it is the last day, who won really well at Aintree a couple of weeks ago. And Capelin at 92 and Diego de Charmy at 5 to 1. Will any of those two win?
Well, I obviously haven't got a decent bone in my body because I hope they both get absolutely thrashed by the horse that I am putting up. That was a crazy race, though, wasn't it? Last time at Ascot. I actually hope Capeland turns the form around.
Great story, yeah.
And I hope he finishes second to Ballywood, who I'm putting up of Alan King's. Now, actually, running that race against Diego Du Charmy on Capeland last time, unseated early on. We'll forgive him that run. It was just a slight mistake. He's still the youngest horse in the field this time at 5 years old. So he's got plenty of progress to be had. Alan King's another trainer who's actually going along really well at this point. And as we haven't seen him this season to know quite where he's going to finish up potentially, I'll take a chance that he's still on the upgrade and he can run a big race. I think he's another double-figure price.
12 to 1.
12 to 1. So there you go. We've got a pair of 12 to 1 shots in the handicaps, and then let's watch the big one and hope the favourites both get turned over.
Well, in your hope, best bet of the day.
Best bet in the day is probably Lost in Translation, but I do like actually both the handicap runners as well. So
brilliant. It's going to be a great weekend. What else are you up to this weekend? You off to watch?
Yeah, I'm off to watch West Ham v Tottenham. I'm not going to tell you which side I hope to win, so I don't get any grief from anyone on Twitter.
I think anyone wants West Ham to win, and after what's happened this week. But anyway, it should be a great weekend of action. Do look at the Tote Ten To Follow on GG. Loads of great stuff. Registration open for another 8 days. Pick 10 horses to win you up to £125,000 of that prize pot. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great weekend. Enjoy it.